welcome to this week's Tech Tuesday with Convergent Technologies Group. My name's Jeff Garell. Today we'll be talking about virtual desktop infrastructure. In fact, I've got a case study to show you the benefits of virtual desktop infrastructure, especially for graphics-intensive needs. The case study today is a radiology firm, which, as you can imagine, has high-res, very large images that they have to look at. Their solution prior to a VDI infrastructure was to consolidate all the images that are coming in from all the different hospitals and all the different MRIs and CAT scans and whatever other images they're getting into the corporate data center, where each site, each practice had its own VPN connection, site-to-site VPN connection into that data center. And when the doctors got notified that their images were ready, they would go onto this graphics workstation, this very expensive piece of equipment, request it to be downloaded, wait for it to be downloaded, and then they'd do their job. They'd look at it, they'd make their evaluations, take their notes, chart, do whatever, all the stuff that they have to do. And then they would release that back and then have to do it again for the next one and the next one. They were tied to their desk. As you can imagine, these are huge files. This brought a host of expense in this situation, which, by the way, was better than the previous situation. But now they're growing and growing, and this is starting to get a little untenable because their bandwidth costs out of the data center are getting expensive. The maintenance of these machines distributed all over, the state, multiples in a single office, depending on the number of radiologists, I presume. They needed to have somebody literally doing nothing but running around to all these locations, maintaining and repairing and replacing systems. It was expensive, really. This customer came to us. We've been doing business with them for a few years now, and they came to us and says, is there something we can do? And so we suggested VDI. Talked about the different providers of VDI. Citrix has a really good solution. VMware has a really good solution. We decided to help do a pilot using Horizon from VMware. It was on a single DL380. It had about 10 VMs. We used the M10, the NVIDIA M10 GPU, because they're going to need that processing. That's why they have these big fancy machines in their desks, because a lot of graphics processing. And so we built out the very simple 10 VM graphics workstation in the corporate data center, right next to the images, basically, right? So now they're not going to have to traverse some WAN connection. And it was instantly a success. Doctors could remote in. We moved to a client VPN into the Horizon view. They weren't stuck at their desks waiting for downloads or having to do all the imagery at their desk. Right now they could carry a laptop, carry an iPad. They could be going out on their rounds or going to meet with the primary physicians and showing them, hey, look, right here, you don't have to come to my office anymore. It improved their efficiency considerably and improved their happiness, because now they didn't have to sit there and they weren't wasting what we'll call billable time waiting for downloads. They weren't tied to a desk. They weren't, all in all, everybody was happier, at least our primary pilot physicians. In fact, it wasn't but 3-4 weeks of the pilot, and we started expanding it. Now, the nice thing is it's VMware, and it's Horizon. It was very easy to expand the cluster and start bringing on pretty much the entire practice. All of the different offices brought online. Everybody's happier. They've saved a ton of money. It was, I think they estimated somewhere between a 30 and 45 day payback period on what it costs them to deploy this versus the added capabilities and capacity of their radiologists. The flexibility, again, being able to move, view from anywhere, improved the radiologists' just day-to-day working conditions. It was basically, it was a home run across the board. Now, following this, we're seeing more interest in expanding that even further as they grow. And we're seeing more and more companies, especially now, either wishing they'd done VDI or trying to get it up and running as quickly as possible. As this case shows, I mean, we're talking some fairly technical requirements to keep these radiologists happy and being able to see what they need to see and the clarity they need to see it as quickly as they need to see it. Most of us, including us, if we need VDI, it's just to, use Word and PowerPoint and Outlook and keep it secure back in the home office. But this shows that even a graphics intensive solution doesn't take long, as long as it's planned out properly, to provision, test, and deploy. Now, one of the most important things that Matt, one of our guys that does this, really stresses is do not do a small pilot and then think that you can roll out to hundreds or thousands of users just like as soon as the pilot's over. You're going to want to step this out so that as you run into local issues, right? Locality type issues where somebody's got a little different requirement, you'll be able to respond a little better. So planning it out and staging it out properly is critical to any VDI deployment if you want it successful. Coming up after the break, which we really don't have a break, but you hear that on TV. Coming up is a nice presentation of VDI on Simplivity, provided by our friends at Hewlett-Packard Enterprise. And I know I ran through it a couple of times, learned a few things I thought I knew, but didn't really. And I hope you enjoy it.
Hello and welcome to today's series on running VMware Horizon on HPE Simplivity. I'd like to thank everyone for taking time out of your busy day to meet with us, and I hope you and your family are staying safe and healthy. Companies in every industry are looking at HCI as a next-gen architecture for virtualized workloads. In this brief series, we will educate you on HPE Simplivity hyperconverged solution that is helping thousands of our customers simplify their VDI and hybrid cloud journey. First off, how do you choose the right VDI solution? Well, there's three things that you need to do to successfully deploy a VDI environment. The first thing you need to do is identify user requirements, define those workloads up front. Evaluate system performance, choose a proven solution. And lastly, size the infrastructure correctly. Start with the number of users supported and the use cases that you're trying to solve. HPE Simplivity provides the perfect solution for VDI. First off, it's easy to deploy and scale. You can easily add storage and compute resources. You have the ability to scale with just compute when storage is not an issue. Second, resilient with performance. It has peak and predictable performance. It's highly resilient, meaning that it's running RAID and RAIN architectures to protect those workloads. It has a tightly integrated, highly efficient backups built in. And it's also built into our intelligent platform InfoSight, which is our AI and artificial intelligence platform. Lastly, it's a validated, and we have built solutions for it. So VMware Horizon View and Citrix on HPE and Simplivity are validated by Login VSI, which is an industry standard. HPE Simplivity plugin for deploying workers from vCenter is also integrated into our platform. And in a DR scenario, we have the ability to automate disaster recovery with our rapid DR platform as well. HPE Simplivity provides density, scale, and resiliency, unmatched and independently validated performance for user experience. So basically, we are eliminating login storms with this unparalleled performance. Ultra fast desktop provisioning. We can actually do more desktops with less hardware to reduce CapEx and OpEx expenses. Linear scaling in affordable increments. So you could start from a pilot and scale into a production scenario. And lastly, enterprise class protection and resiliency. Like I said before, it has built-in data protection for all client virtualization workloads, no single points of failure, so on and so forth. Start small and scale out from pilot to production. Start with 2 nodes as a POC, simple fast deployment, and linear scale to match. Independently scale compute and memory. Add compute power when needed. We have support for GPUs for graphics users. Leverage new and existing hardware. And you can actually start with just 2 HPE Simplivity nodes. HPE Simplivity accelerates performance. It increases performance by eliminating IOPS. And one of the founders said, the best IO is the one you don't have to do. Our average efficiency on our VDI, HPE Simplivity VDI platforms is 40-to-1. We do full clones stored as efficiently as link clones. So whether you're doing full clones or link clones, we actually provide that efficiency. We maximize uptime and prevent data loss. We can do file level restores, multiple points in time, restore to any VM. At the VM level, we can back up and restore a 1 terabyte VM in under 60 seconds. Fully independent. At the node level, we have hardware RAID and redundancy protection. At the cluster level, we have RAIN protection and high availability. And at the federation level, we have site-to-site DR, remote backup and recovery, and only the unique blocks are transferred. So if you have slow links between sites, you're not constantly moving that data. HPE Simplivity for VDI is excellent desktop performance with or without hardware acceleration. So our platforms really come with, you can have hardware accelerated cards or non-hardware accelerated cards. And as we evaluate your environment, we could look into those and find out what's best. Like I said before, we could do more desktops on less hardware. We can scale and has built-in data protection and no single points of failure. Here's a law firm that recently deployed VDI with VMware Horizons. Their challenges that they faced were an outdated VDI environment. And they wanted to incorporate deduplicate compression technology. And they wanted to ensure security, compliance, and control. The HPE solution was a new VDI environment for 150 lawyers, single software-defined appliance that provided the flexibility and easy startup. The solution was an HPE Simplivity 380 all-flash node with VMware vSphere, Horizon View, and we were running email and database VMs in conjunction with their desktop environment. The outcome was really, really good. Consistent familiar desktop experience and performance to all the lawyers, achieving 15-to-1 data efficiency, which is extremely good. Quick and easily deployment, leveraged HCI and Point Next, and flexibility to improve off-site backup and recovery. So with that built-in capabilities of backup and recovery, that really provided that flexibility that they needed. Login VSI is the industry standard for client virtualization performance testing. And HPE Simplivity solutions have completed validation more than any other vendor for both Citrix and VMware. So it's proven performance. VMware Horizon on HPE Simplivity features superior user experience, linear scale, enterprise data protection. So lastly, why VMware Horizon on HPE? Well, simple. simplified deployment with hyperconverged building blocks, best-in-class user density, ability to start small and grow, support up to 4,000 office worker desktops in a single building block. So we have basically reference architectures from VMware that shows these building blocks. Independently validated performance by Login VSI. Deployment of full clone desktops with the same efficiency as link clones. And lastly, the enterprise data class protection for full clones, images, user data, etc. Overall, HPE Simplivity fills the primary requirements for many organizations, namely performance without sacrificing economics or resilience. Thank you for your time today.